Have you ever stopped to consider that the most powerful force dwelling within you might be wasted every single day? Sexual energy, so often repressed, misunderstood, and misdirected, is in truth a secret key to creating the reality you long to live. It is the vital force that moves the universe, the creative impulse that, when channeled consciously, becomes manifestation power, razor-sharp focus, mental clarity, and spiritual expansion. The problem is that almost nobody teaches this. Most people get lost in compulsion, addiction, or emptiness, unaware that they're draining their own creative power. In this video, you will discover how to transmute your libido into creative energy, to transform your life on every level. And to seal your commitment to this evolution, write in the comments, "My energy creates my reality." Let's begin activating this force right now. Jacobo Grinberg was one of the greatest explorers of the human mind and consciousness ever to exist. A Mexican neurophysiologist, Grinberg dedicated his life to investigating the mysteries of reality, uniting science and spirituality in ways few dared. He believed the external world isn't fixed and independent, but rather a projection shaped by our perceptions, beliefs, and inner vibrations. According to his neuronal field theory, there exists an invisible matrix where all possibilities coexist, and what we experience is merely the reflection of what our consciousness accesses. But what few people know is that one of the most potent energies for altering this field is sexual energy. For Grinberg, libido isn't limited to physical desire. It is a direct expression of the life force that connects humans to the creative universe. When channeled with intention, this energy becomes a vehicle for profound transformation, capable of breaking limiting patterns and manifesting extraordinary realities. Ancient masters and cultures already understood this, but over time, this wisdom was distorted or repressed. Today, we will reclaim this truth. We will learn how to harness this raw, sacred force to evolve, achieve, and create the reality you were born to live. Sexual energy is, above all, a pure manifestation of the universe's creative force. It's not only a biological tool for reproduction, but the most intense expression of our inner power to generate, transform, and expand. According to Jacobo Grinberg, everything we perceive as reality is the result of the interaction between our neuronal field and the unified field of potentiality. In this scenario, sexual energy acts as a vibrational catalyst, able to amplify intentions and shape the structure of what we call the physical world. When someone wastes their libido unconsciously, they're also wasting their most potent creative drive. Sexual arousal, when understood as energy rather than mere momentary pleasure, reveals itself as psychic fuel capable of raising the vibrational frequency of body and mind. This elevation opens doors to subtler mental states connected to what Grinberg calls expanded reality, where the laws of manifestation become accessible. Cultures such as the Egyptians, Hindus, and Tibetans understood this. To them, sexual energy was sacred and should be cultivated, not repressed or drained. When channeled with purpose, this force awakens higher energy centers, activates the pineal gland, and aligns the individual with their true creative essence. It's no coincidence that great spiritual masters practiced conscious celibacy, not as a denial of pleasure, but as a way to preserve vital energy for reaching superior states of perception and creation. From this perspective, creating reality ceases to be merely a philosophical or spiritual concept and becomes an energetic practice. The body, as a temple, stores this force. The mind, as a channel, directs it, and consciousness, as a bridge to the neuronal field, manifests it. Therefore, understanding and respecting sexual energy as a creative force is the first step to moving out of existential passivity and assuming the role of co-creator of your own life. Once you grasp this, everything changes. Your thoughts become clearer, your emotions more balanced, and your actions more aligned with what you truly wish to experience. To transmute sexual energy is to transform raw desire into directed creative power. It's taking the instinctive impulse, normally discharged unconsciously, and channeling it toward the realization of something great, a project, a goal, a new version of yourself. Transmutation is the inner alchemy that converts immediate pleasure into lasting purpose. Jacobo Grinberg showed that reality is shaped by sustained mental states, and sexual energy, when repressed unconsciously or squandered, does not contribute to that creation. On the other hand, when desire is acknowledged and redirected with intention, it becomes the driving force behind any form of manifestation. Instead of becoming a hostage to desire, you use it as a source of vitality, focus, and clarity. This practice demands discipline, but its effects are transformative. Transmutation is not about denying desire, but about elevating it. When you feel sexual arousal arising, instead of repressing it or giving in to the immediate impulse, breathe deeply. Direct that energy to your heart. Visualize your objectives and feel that force propelling every cell of your body toward realization. It's like taking a powerful river and guiding it to irrigate fertile land, rather than letting it flow into the void. This technique was known to great leaders, artists, and sages throughout history. Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, and even spiritual figures such as Yogananda understood the importance of retaining and redirecting vital energy to reach heightened levels of creativity and consciousness. Mental concentration, clarity in decision-making, and intensity in action become much more accessible when libido is under mastery and properly directed. When you apply sexual transmutation in your life, you begin to feel a silent force, sustaining you in moments of fatigue, doubt, or procrastination. This energy becomes available for what truly matters: your projects, your evolution, your mission. And the more you practice, the more natural this redirection becomes. Transforming desire into purpose is what separates the impulsive from the achievers. The choice lies in how you use the energy that drives you, for distraction or for creation. To transmute is to awaken. The key to mastering reality begins with mastering yourself, and among all internal forces, sexual energy is perhaps the most intense and challenging to control. Great spiritual masters always understood that true power does not lie in suppressing impulses, but in sublimating them. That is, elevating instinctive energy to higher levels of consciousness and expression. Jacobo Grinberg, by studying the neuronal field and ancestral traditions, realized that sublimating libido was one of the most effective paths to altering the structure of inner reality and, consequently, outer reality. That's because the energetic body, instead of depleting itself in fleeting pleasures, accumulates vibrational strength that expands perception, fortifies willpower, and activates higher power centers. Self-mastery begins with the conscious decision not to be a slave to your impulses. This doesn't mean repression, but vigilance and direction. Each time you choose not to give in to automatic desire, you strengthen your capacity for focus and self-control. And that reflects in every area of life: relationships, work, daily decisions. You become more centered, magnetic, and confident. To sublimate is to take the fire of desire and use it to illuminate the mind, open the heart, and awaken the soul. Cultures like the yogis in India, Taoists in China, and even esoteric orders in the West developed specific practices to transform sexual energy into spiritual force. Breathing techniques, visualization, and meditation are resources to make this elevation happen. When this energy rises, it not only purifies the body, but refines thoughts, unlocks creativity, and strengthens the connection to the field of infinite possibilities described by Grinberg. Sublimation then ceases to be merely a personal practice and becomes a sacred act of co-creation with the universe. Self-mastery is not an end in itself. but a portal. By conquering your own impulses, you also gain the inner freedom necessary to manifest any reality you desire. You stop being a puppet of sensations and become a master of your own energy. And that is exactly what the masters knew. Inner control is true power. Vibrational construction is shaped by thoughts, emotions, and habits. And within this process of inner building, sexual energy plays a vital role. It is the raw material that can be used to sculpt a new version of yourself, stronger, more aligned, and more powerful. Jacobo Grinberg showed that reality isn't objective, but a projection of the mind filtered through the neuronal field. This means that changing how you perceive yourself inevitably changes how the world responds to you. But for this change to be real and sustained, it needs to be fueled by a consistent vibrational force, and that's where libido comes in as a tool for transformation. When sexual energy is accumulated and directed consciously, it strengthens the internal image you wish to build. Imagine that every time you resist the automatic impulse and redirect that energy toward an elevated intention, you are depositing fuel directly into your new identity. Instead of reinforcing old behavioral patterns, you activate a higher frequency, compatible with the life you want to live. This practice must be daily. It's not an occasional ritual, but continuous mental reprogramming. Each time you realign your energy with the desired identity, you reconfigure the neural connections that support your behaviors and beliefs. And over time, you're no longer trying to become someone else. You are that new version. Creating a new identity is an act of power, and sexual energy is the cement of this structure. When used with intention, it builds an internal framework so strong that the external world has no choice but to reorganize itself to reflect this new reality. Everything you desire already exists, but in a potential state. This is the foundation of the infinite potentiality field described by Jacobo Grinberg. According to his research, the universe isn't composed solely of observable matter, but of a subtle, energetic structure where all possibilities coexist. What we call reality is simply a specific selection made by our consciousness based on what we're ready to perceive. In this context, sexual energy emerges as the bridge between the limited mind and this boundless field of creation. When this energy is purified and elevated, it acts as a powerful vibrational frequency, able to expand perception and access deeper layers of reality. The more intense and directed this vibration, the greater your capacity to influence the field and manifest new possibilities. Sexual arousal, when not dissipated, increases the body's electromagnetic field. This expansion makes the mind more sensitive, intuitive, and connected to what lies beyond the senses. It's in this state that doors open, intuitions arise, synchronicities intensify. The universe begins to respond precisely to what you vibrate, because the energy you emit is aligned with frequencies of conscious creation. But for this connection to happen, desire must be aligned with presence. It's not enough to want something intensely. You must vibrate that desire with clarity, confidence, and surrender. Sexual energy, when channeled with love, purpose, and elevated intention, transcends the ego's barriers and touches subtle dimensions of reality, where manifestation becomes inevitable. Many who have accessed this state report mystical experiences, spontaneous healings, and sudden transformations in their lives. It's not magic, but energetic alignment. Libido, in this process, acts like the electrical current that activates the system. The more refined it is, the more precise its interaction with the field of possibilities. Connecting to the field isn't a privilege for a few, but the natural right of anyone who learns to vibrate consciously. And sexual energy is one of the most powerful tools for that. When you direct it upward, you reconnect with the creative source, and in that state, there are no limits. Understanding the power of sexual energy is essential, but applying it in daily life is what truly transforms your reality. To channel this force consciously, you need rituals and habits that sustain the desired vibrational direction. Practice, more than knowledge, is what shapes your frequency and builds your new identity in the world. The first practice is conscious breathing. Whenever you notice a peak of sexual arousal, whether from a thought, a memory, or an external stimulus, stop, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Visualize that energy rising up your spine, passing through your heart, and reaching the top of your head. This activates transmutation. You're no longer a slave to the impulse, but in command of your energy. The second practice is emotional visualization. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes each day to imagine the life you want to live. Don't just see it. Feel it. Bring into yourself the emotion of already living that reality. Stored sexual energy intensifies this visualization and makes it more effective. In this state, your mind interprets the scene as real and begins to reorganize your perception to manifest it. The third practice is intention-based affirmation. Use short, direct, powerful phrases. For example, "My energy creates my reality. I am a creative presence. All I desire is already within me." Repeat these phrases with conviction, especially upon waking and before sleeping, when the brain is most receptive. The presence of contained libido gives extra intensity to these words, as if they were decrees. The fourth practice is guarding against empty stimuli. Avoid content and habits that drain your energy, like pornography, compulsive distractions, or conversations that pull you down. Preserving your energy is as important as cultivating it. By protecting your attention, you strengthen your capacity for focus and vibrational direction. Finally, cultivate inner silence. Daily moments of introspection, meditation, or prayer help clear the mental field and tune into your intuition. It's in silence that the wisdom of sexual energy reveals itself most clearly. Constant practice of these actions creates a vibrational field so strong that the universe begins to conspire in your favor. Your reality changes because you changed from within. Now that you understand the hidden power of your sexual energy and how it can be directed to create a new reality, the choice is in your hands. You can continue repeating the same old patterns, or start today applying this knowledge and awaken a force that has always been there, waiting for your awareness. Nothing changes from the outside in. Everything begins with an internal decision to become the protagonist of your own transformation. Start with small practices. Breathe with intention. Visualize with emotion. Protect your energy. Each day, cultivate this new vibrational field within you. Remember, reality cannot withstand the mind of someone who knows what they want and vibrates with purpose. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications. That way, you'll continue receiving messages that feed your expansion and awakening. And if you felt this truth vibrate within you, share this video with someone who also needs to access this power. And in the comments, write firmly, "My energy creates my reality." This affirmation is the first step to sealing this new path. You already have everything you need. Now it's time to live it fully.